first 3 quarters of the current fiscal year, Audi has achieved an operating return of 5.4%, making it one of the top performers in the industry. This comes as the current motoring industry, as you know, is in turmoil. Rudi Venter, marketing manager from Audi South Africa, joins me now to discuss their marketing strategies going forward. Rudi, thank you very much for joining us on Media and Money.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
And you've met Mark, of course.
Yes, we know each other well, yes.
Come from a long way. Rudi, as I'm saying, you've managed to accomplish quite a feat here in terms of looking at the market in South Africa, motoring figures not looking good, but managing to put in some 5.4% on your sales. How have you managed that? Well,
we have to be honest and also realize that the impact has hit us as Audi as hard as many of the other manufacturers. I think it's just that we've managed to manage our business around what's happened certainly in the last year or so in terms of the economy and the industry. But really it's a strategy about just being a lot more clever and a lot more succinct about how you spend your money, where you spend your money, and the type of messages that you're trying to give out to consumers.
And then can we make the assumption that you've had to relook at your marketing strategy?
Of course, but you know, we as a challenger brand in South Africa, we kind of do that every year. You know, we've got a basic goal that we want to achieve, and as we know, all car manufacturers and importers, you want to put numbers on the board and sell as many cars as you can. But for Audi, what's really important is to create a certain awareness in the consumer that, you know, the Audi brand has come a very long way in quite a short space of time, and we really are the brand, the premium brand to keep your eye on.
Rudi is blowing his own horn here, Mark.
He is rather, but quite justifiably, I think. I mean, let's face it, last year Audi for the first time sold 1 million vehicles. You know, it's very much bucked the recession, where all the others are announcing drops in profit and drops in car sales and everything else. It's even, you refer to it as a challenger, it's possibly even less of a challenger, more of an established brand. But yeah, it's interesting as well at the moment. The market's very, very tough for everybody, and the question that Mandla asked about where you spend your money, I mean, that must be getting tougher. You must be more demands on you as to where you place ads, how you actually can conduct your strategy.
Absolutely. I mean, our budget, I mean, if you had to do just a pure comparison in terms of media spend versus our main competitors, we have a lot less money to spend. So you really have to cherry pick those specific areas in order to make sure that you get the message across, as I said earlier. But also, you know, for Audi, you talk about being a challenger brand. You know, of all the years to choose to make a TV ad, you know, most people would say, you know, if you're not going to make a lot of TV ads over the years, you know, this year's not the year to do it. And yet we did it in the beginning of the year with the Q5 TV ad, which is on the screen now, and has been received so well, and it's a fantastic achievement for us. So it really, although we have to be careful about what we spend, how we spend, and where we spend, we also, you need to sometimes be brave and pioneering.
And you have been careful. Let's look at that ad spend. For example, with the Q5, you spent 3.2 million. Take us through the strategy for that particular model.
Well, that was for the launch burst, if you like. So there was a fair chunk of that money was spent on the actual production of the TVC. And Ogilvy Johannesburg, our agency, which came up with the creative for that, really came to the party in terms of helping us to produce that ad for a very competitive price, because it really is, as far as we're concerned, a benchmark piece of work. And the rest of the money really was spent in media. And I think a lot of people would probably be surprised, especially our competitors, about the amount of money that we spent. And really it was looking at, you know, where's the biggest bang going to be? Well, it's going to be on television. The bulk of the money is going to go there. Also some clever online work that we did, and the usual, you know, tick a few boxes with print, etc.
And the controversial R8 ad?
Well, is it controversial? Sure. The R8 ad really is cheeky, let's be honest. And we were discussing earlier off camera about really being on the fringes, I guess, of a bit of comparative advertising. But to me...
Did it get you into trouble?
No, luckily not. In fact, personally, I think if I was, and we can say it now, the brand in question is obviously Ferrari. If I was Ferrari, I'd say, well, you know what, these guys they think they're where we are, and haha, maybe they're not. But it's cheeky, it's clever, and I really think it plays on emotion, which sometimes is lacking in communication from Germany.
Was it effective, Mark?
I think it was very effective. I found it very interesting that they didn't drive it through Sanagato, where Lamborghini is based.
Well, that's a bit close to home.
A little bit, yeah, exactly, a bit too close to home. But no, I think it was very effective. I think a lot of people looked at it, and the first time you see the ad, maybe you're not quite going to get it necessarily, but just that home of Ferrari and the Audi R8 roaring through. But it's a car that really has made such a phenomenal impact. I mean, if you go back back to the concept that was shown in iRobot that you had at Auto Africa a few years ago. It's stolen the hearts and minds not just of genuine buyers, but the aspirational youth as well, which want to own the supercar in this real affordable. So
to speak. Yeah.
Rudi, before we close off the interview, take us through your marketing strategy for 2010.
Well, really, it's still a bit, caution to the wind, if you like. Budgets are still tight. We're not at the levels we were in 2008, for example. So, again, it's much of the same, and I think it's really to look at the product portfolio that's coming next year. There's a vast amount of cars coming from Audi, and really, again, picking the ones that we know will not only build the brand, but get people into our showrooms.